There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear.
New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Live 7P, the place to be, right here, the Squared Circle Digest. I am Sean Stanley. Hey, is the great Frankie Fresco. How we doing, sir?
Doing good, feeling a lot better.
Yeah, you look a little more rejuvenated.
I got some more color in my face.
You're rolling now, man. Rolling.
Yes, sir.
And I want to thank everybody that's following along now. We are on the YouTube channels, Stanley Media House Network and the Frankie Fresco YouTube channel, as well as on the @Sean_Stanley11X. And we'll be here for the next hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know. We just go and go and go and go. And kind of like what Finn Balor said, I'm just going to keep stabbing you and stabbing you and stabbing you and stabbing you. Yeah, and we're going to dive into a lot of things that were going on. I think we should start with WWE. That's kind of where everything is happening. There is some news in AEW, some good, some not so good, some repeats, but the same thing happens with everything. But Terry is already in. What's up, Sean and Frankie? Dad's already in, and we thank everybody that's tuned in right now on X and on the YouTube channels. Don't forget, jump in on the chat. If you're on X, you can jump in as well. Steven Gonzalez saying, yo, what up, homies? What is up? Frankie, where should we start? Where should we start? That you can't pick wrestling matches, that there was big returns, that some things happened on Raw that maybe you liked, you didn't like. Where should we start for Mr. Frankie Fresco?
I mean, we did the post Summe Slam, so if you guys did not get a chance to watch that, you could definitely tune into Sean's channel. We had a special guest, of course, so that was fun. It's up to you. I mean, I don't mind talking a little bit about Summe Slam, or maybe we should just start with Monday night, because I think we're not going to see eye to eye.
I want to start real quick with Roman returning, okay? Not the fact that he returned at SummerSlam. Here's where I want to go with this, Frankie.
Okay.
For you, SmackDown on Friday, okay? And this is where we'll go with, since if you have not checked it out, myself, Frankie, and Finn Sammy broke down SummerSlam. It is on the channel. Question for you. What do you want to see happen Friday on SmackDown with the return of Roman Reigns? What makes Frankie Fresco happy? What happens this Friday for you?
To be real honest with you, I'm very stagnant with WWE right now. I feel they're stagnant with a lot of their stuff.
Ah, okay. All
I
right.
want them to
I feel like he's going back to the dark side, people. He's getting back to the dark side.
I want them to be a little bit more spontaneous. Instead of dealing with the bloodline, I would like to see Roman go ahead and call out Cody Rhodes instead of addressing the bloodline.
Interesting. And Cat for Life, what's up, sir? All right, so here's mine. Dude, I thought when I saw Steven Gonzalez, I thought he said, I hope Damian and running back. I thought I said RB. I'm like, man, but he said Rhea start there. Actually, they have started their own fad. They're called the Terror Twins. I don't know if that was the name they appointed themselves. They've started calling them the Terror Twins. I don't know where that kind of picked up on, but I'm also not always like every time WWE puts a behind the scenes or anything like that. I don't know, but they have started the thing called the Terror Twins. But I think, see, here's the problem I have with that is that if he calls out Cody Rhodes, then that kind of halts the momentum that you've had with Solo.
You call the momentum with what Solo and the Bloodline has been doing momentum?
They've been running roughshod over the SmackDown shows, yeah. And the only person that stopped them has been Roman Reigns.
Do you feel that Roman Reigns? I'm sorry. Do you feel
now he can mention Cody? I don't mind if he mentions Cody, but like I don't need him to call out Cody. Like I want him to call out the bloodline, and then maybe throw in the snide remark that, "Hey, Cody, I haven't forgot about you either," or something like that. I don't mind him mentioning Cody, but I don't want the focus to be Cody.
I want them to call. He calls out Cody. Cody comes out, and as soon as they're gonna address each other, that's when the bloodline comes out and interrupts both of them.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like you're doing too much. I feel like we're doing too much there.
I'm gonna tell you where I'm going with this.
Go ahead. Let's play it out. Go ahead.
No. I want to hear your side. I'm gonna tell you.
No. I want to play yours out because maybe you'll answer the question that I'm going to bring up. So go ahead and play yours out, and I'll go, and then I'll. If you start getting too crazy, then I'll jump in.
This is the thing with me. And I mentioned it a couple seconds ago, is that I feel WWE is getting stagnant. And what I mean stagnant is that they're being too predictable with a lot of the stuff that they're doing. You went ahead and said, Frankie, do we start with you making bad picks and all that stuff? You want to know something, Sean? The reason we have different picks is because you and me, and a lot of the people who are watching us start creating these beautiful different
ideas,
scenarios. And when we look at it, what happens? They're not doing any of that. They're just going straight down the line. There's no deviating from the line. You have everything going straight, literally straight. There's no more surprises. I was looking, look, I'll be real honest with you, and I'll be very transparent with you. You know, when we had Vince TV in, Vince TV said something. He said, "Oh, I predicted all the matches and all that stuff," and I was like, "Vince TV predicted all the matches?" I was like, "Really? He really did?" And then I started looking back, and I looked at what he said, and I saw the replay of our show, and I was like, "Wow!" For a minute there, I didn't want to believe him, but now I understand where he comes from. If you look at that rundown of those matches, every single match was predictable. Very simple. The problem here is that you and me start making these assumptions and making it look like, yo, this is going to happen. No, this is going to happen. That we start doubting each other. And then that's when we're start pretty much taking different sides. But at the end of the day, it's straightforward. What am I going to see on SmackDown? I'm going to see the Bloodline probably coming out, or Roman Reigns coming out and them going ahead and talking to each other or whatever. And then you'll probably see, worst case scenario, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman probably will come out or something like that. Or Jimmy Uso. One of those two come out, and that's it. You probably won't even see Roman Reigns get hit or any attacked by anybody. You're gonna see the same thing. You're just gonna see Roman Reigns talking to the Bloodline. Will they attack him? Maybe, maybe not, but it's predictable. It's always Roman and the Bloodline. Roman and the Bloodline now, because that's what is being sold to us. I want to see something different. Throw us a curveball, bro. Throw us a curveball. It's too predictable. I know you're gonna deal with the Bloodline, but you don't. I also don't want to deviate 20,000 away from the storyline, because I think what happens with WWE, and I'm realizing this by Triple H, is that he's putting so much focus to these storylines that he's forgotten the act of surprise. We're wrestling fans, but we need to see something different and be surprised. Like that wow moment. We're not getting that, man. Everything that they're doing is predictable, and I'm getting bored. I'm getting upset because I'm noticing this. I'm noticing that the ideas that they're bringing on to the show, it's very simple. All you got to do is just watch the show and you'll realize, okay, that's what's happening next. Now, there's going to be shows like that.
But let me ask you this. Could they be setting you up?
Absolutely not.
No? Okay.
Absolutely not.
Didn't we say the same thing, though, with the way, WrestleMania played out? Right? We didn't.
I think the whole situation of WrestleMania, it went so well was because of the unpredictability that we did not see it coming, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
because
but it
Triple
was
H
originally
said,
going to be
exactly. It everything fell the way it fell because of that CM Punk situation where he got hurt and all that stuff. That deviated everything. After that, what ended up happening? Didn't we talk about it and say, "Yo, this is an amazing WrestleMania"? Did we know that Undertaker was going to come out? Absolutely not. Did we know that John Cena was going to come out?
See, here's the thing, though, is I think, too, in a way, is the way we watch wrestling and the way most of our chat and the people that are on there watch it is different than some of your casual wrestling fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to watch it regardless. So a lot of the stuff that's happening is being for your casual fans to, us hardcore fans, we sit here, we watch it. I mean, hell, half of us are still watching AEW. Tell me that's not predictable.
Let me ask you something.
But what I'm getting at, and I'm not trying to pull the thing over thing, is that, again, when you're writing these shows, yes, it's predictable to us, and we probably throw our off, like with us. I had Bailey winning and then Tiffany cashing in. You had Bailey just winning. Nia wins. If you look back on it, Nia is a Triple H person. Bronson Reed is a Triple H person.
Let's not get to Bronson Reed right now.
Huh?
Let's not get into that Bronson Reed situation, because that even pissed me off as well.
Oh my God, bro! Like how you get pissed off way too easy, bro. Like. Well,
we'll talk about Monday Night Raw. We'll talk.
Yeah, no, we'll get into it in a little bit. But yeah, there's some predictability. But then also the fact that now they're using, the storytelling aspect of the Judgment Day has been going on for almost over a year now. We've been saying they're going to break up. They're going to break up. And they kept teasing it, and they kept not breaking up. And then they just blew the whole damn thing to hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it comes to the point to where, like, again, it's expectations versus, people having to write a show. Like, we can sit here all day and say, hey, that's going to be great. But once that happens, we don't have to worry about writing the next angle. We don't have to worry about writing the next segment of TV. They do. They have a long-term goal. They know where the ultimate, result wants to end up. For us, yeah, it's week to week, it's month to month, it's angle to angle. But that's not how they have to write the TV. So it's easy for us to sit here and play, the fantasy booker. And yes, I would have loved to have Tiffany Stratton cash in. I would have loved everything to go the way, would I love to see Roman call out Cody? Yes. But sitting back and knowing what I know is like, how many storylines are we going to jump into to go where? Because if Roman calls out Cody and that's not the first match that we get, why call him out?
Because you're not expecting it.
Okay, so you call him out to then go against the bloodline?
We don't
Like
know.
what is Cody gonna cost Roman the match because you called me out, so I'm gonna cost you the match against Solo? Like that's where again you start mixing too many storylines together, and
But it's not only about storyline
anymore. We're fantasy booking.
But there's that it's not only about storylines. Again,
it is about storylines. That's what wrestling's about. If it's not, then it's
not only about storylines. Storylines plays a huge part in wrestling, but it's also about the wrestling and it's the act of surprise. You want to be surprised of what happens next. Why would people go crazy when you saw The Rock show up and stuff like that?
How do you surprise anybody these days? What is a surprise? You know what surprised me?
Breaking news.
Like nobody had a picture of Roman going into the back of SummerSlam.
Surprise was like breaking news that you don't expect it coming anytime soon. You don't. I'll give you a perfect example, and I'll relate it next to football. All of us were talking about how all of a sudden Tyreek Hill wasn't going to get re-signed. Act of surprise. They did an extension for him. Did it get the pop that we all thought was going to get?
They didn't get it. It wasn't an extension. They guaranteed the money up front.
Okay, fine.
Not a contract. No more years.
But they guaranteed him money. But something changed, right? Were we expecting that? No, we weren't expecting that. We were expecting them to just leave the contract as it is and let go of Tyreek Hill next after this season. That's what we expected. That happened. What happened with Tua Tagovailoa? Tua Tagovailoa, another guy. We expected him to get paid, but we didn't expect him to go ahead and be one of the highest. What happened? That act of spontaneous. Here comes Jordan Love and makes way more freaking money than Tua Tagovailoa. That.
Yeah, but you're talking about a sport. What is the Dolphins going to do next? What's after that? Again, that's what I'm talking about. He calls out Cody. He calls out Cody. What's next? It's not apples and oranges.
I'm not writing their storyline, Sean.
But they have to. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Frankie.
But if
we can sit here all day and be like, I want Roman to call out Cody, then how does that play into all the other storylines going on?
Sean, if you and me were full-time storytelling WWE employees, I could give you an answer to that. I would have to sit down consistently,
but isn't what
write down my stories.
Their answer to that?
Yes, but I keep telling you that they're going in that straight line, which doesn't deviate from anything, and it's predictable.
They went on the straight line right now, but I mean, it doesn't mean they can't branch off.
I hope that's what I'm telling you. I'm hoping that they change it. That's why I feel like WWE right now is stagnant. They've trained the eye of the fan to be excited for everything that's predictable that's going to happen. We all knew that at one point in time, Dominic Mysterio was going to go ahead and turn on Rhea Ripley. We all knew that. But you and me, when we do the show, we're going to do twists and turns. I said a different scenario. Why? Because if we just are always, this is what's going to happen, people are not going to tune in. People are going to be like, these guys are saying the same thing that we already know.
Because you knew it was going to happen. But did you know they were going to blow up the whole Judgment Day in one swift blow?
They've been planning it for over a year now.
Exactly.
They wanted to break
every time they did, what happened? They didn't do it. So this time you're thinking, okay, it's not going to happen, or at least they'll play it out a little bit. Boom, they didn't. They blew everything up in one night.
They blew everything in one night. But we could get into more as far as the Judgment Day blow up, because I don't agree with blowing it up.
We're going to dive into that right as soon as we finish this one. Judgment Day is next.
Okay.
But I guess technically, it can roll into this because it is a storyline that, however you want to look at it, though. But again, we're not the ones that are sitting here writing. Again, they know what they want to have at Survivor Series. Do you?
No, but if I was employed by WWE and I had that job to do storylines, yes, I would sit down and I would be writing storylines left and right and giving them different options and also throwing spontaneous moments that will play out in certain shows or in certain live events. Yes, I would do
But
that.
how
I'm not saying
spontaneous can
I'm
you
not
get
saying
in pro wrestling these days?
say
How
that again, I'm sorry.
spontaneous can you get?
You could be you could be spontaneous. It's happened, man. Look at when CM Punk finally made his comeback back to WWE. Did anybody hear anything? No, they kept the DL. So were they able to do it? Yes, they were able to do it. There is spontaneous moments. It's just a
Yes.
matter of them doing it
Hold on.
correctly.
Yes, you're talking about, but then once CM Punk comes back, what's next? That's what I'm saying. Like once it happens, what's next?
That's where you have to have somebody who's creative.
But that's what they have to do. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
telling
we
you
can
right
sit
now.
here all day long and be like, Roman should have to go against Cody. Okay, but then what is the next thing in the storyline that these people get paid to do that would make sense to move on?
I would have to sit down and come up with something. I can't just tell you off the bat because I'm not doing that. It's like when you ask me, hey, Frankie, are you going to go DJ? Yes, I'm going to go DJ at this place. Am I just going to go out there with blindfolded and not know what I'm going to play? No, I'm going to plan my set. I'm going to plan the songs I need to know how to play. I got to know who the crowd is. I got to look at different things. I get there early. I've gone to events that have been taking place at these places before I have DJ there to get a vibe. I'm doing my homework. I can't say the same thing when I respond to you now.
You want to see
I'm not the
Roman
storyteller.
call out Cody, you have to know where you want it to go from there.
Again, you threw me that question without me not knowing. So I'm just going to go something spontaneous. It could be Cody being called out. Maybe somebody from Raw decides to come to SmackDown instead. They just did it yesterday where they brought 3 people from SmackDown who got drafted. Well, technically only Randy Orton got drafted, but got drafted in SmackDown and then brought them over to the Monday Night Raw roster. Those are things that, hey, okay, you want to try something like that? Okay, you could try something like that. That's fine. Something different. That's all I'm asking. And I'm not saying in every show. Maybe you're right. Maybe they just need to just bring out Paul Heyman. And we're just bringing Paul Heyman is good enough for the crowd. Right now, what I'm noticing is that the WWE fan, they get excited just for anything that happens now.
Because they condition the fans to do that. That's
100%.
what WWE is conditioning
100%.
their fans to do. And that again is because people are invested into Cody Rhodes. People are invested into Roman Reigns. It doesn't matter Roman could come out there and sit in a chair in the middle of the ring and people would probably go crazy. But that's what happens when people get emotionally invested in the characters. You're seeing it now with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. And we can dive into the Judgment Day and all that now is the fact that, like,
they're doing a disservice to Rhea Ripley and to Damian Priest.
What?
Yes, sir. A disservice.
Oh boy. Okay, go ahead.
Look. I'm gonna be real. Look. This is the thing. We came on this show, and I knew this was gonna happen because I said I'm not liking a lot of these things that they did on Monday night, and I knew we weren't gonna see eye to eye. Number one,
that's
right.
Fine. We don't have to see, but again,
that's fine.
This is where wrestling gets perfect because we could bring on 3 other people, and all 5 of us wouldn't see eye to eye and have 5 different ways of seeing it. That's what makes this so good.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about this, right? So you go ahead and you decide to take off the Judgment Day. You decide to break them up. You're bringing in you literally took the 2 people that were probably the leaders of the Judgment Day, remove them out of the equation, and then you bring in and you have Finn Balor now running the Judgment Day. And now you want to set up Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. The segment of Finn Balor, amazing. Great job. I thought they did a phenomenal job with that. Kudos to them. It was really good. One of the reasons why it was one of the highest portions of Monday Night Raw viewership. Here's my issue. Once Damian Priest and Finn Balor fight, who's left for Damian Priest to go up against? He already beat JD McDonough. You're going to come and tell me that you could see a main event between Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest? You're gonna tell me
it's Dom, right? Dom's the man.
He's a man for me, but I'm being honest. I'm being blunt now. I'm being
no, but I'm telling you,
I'm not being the fanatic Dom. Okay,
yes,
I'm being blunt with you.
Finn has turned into the solo character. He's gonna feed you JD because even Damian said it last night. With a head so big, your brain's so small.
And Sean,
you've already been, he's like you've already been turned on because Finn's feeding you to me. And that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be, and you saw it a little bit after Finn hauled ass last night. Who attacked Damian before Rhea came out? It was Dom and Liv. That's the match that they're going for first.
Yes, but
Finn will interfere and everything else, and ultimately you'll get Finn against there. But also the interesting thing that I thought was interesting and I didn't like about the whole thing that they did, Liv never gloated. Liv got the revenge and didn't gloat at all. The Liv Morgan Revenge Tour, she beats Rhea, she takes Dom, nothing.
And that's why I said that they did a bad job of disservice for Rhea Ripley as well. Because you have this big scene at SummerSlam. It's the whole scene that they start the actual show with. And when you talk Monday night, how do you go ahead and bring Rhea, Dom, and Liv Morgan? You combine it all together with that Finn Balor, Damian Priest feud, JD McDonough. Why? Why are you combining it? That by itself is a headline story that has been trending all this time. And now you're going to combine it?
Yes, you had him
attack.
No, you had them attack Damian from behind, which was Dominic and Liv, and then Rhea came out to make the save. Then Rhea got a hold of Liv, right? Ran her twice into the post, then went to throw her through the table. Dom made the save. And then JD gets back in the ring, runs into mommy headbutt into the South of Heaven choke slam, and they leave with Carlito and JD pulling JD out and them leaving because Finn left everybody.
But why combine those two storylines right now? You have a pop going on with Rhea Ripley, Dom, and Liv Morgan.
Because
why?
Again, as you said,
you didn't even get Rhea to speak. She didn't even talk about it. She didn't. You could have had
talk about it afterwards. They put it on social media. That's what they're doing. They're making you go to social media and other aspects to get the thing. They had an interview with Damian and Rhea on WWE exclusive, WWE social medias.
You're telling me you could not have had a segment backstage of Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest walking together or something showing, hey, look, I gotta go out there and go handle my business. I'll be right back, Rhea. And looks at him or something that at least you're giving that Rhea Ripley side effect of, hey, this is what I know your storyline where it belongs, and I'm gonna WWE is giving credit for her storyline, and obviously the storyline of Damian Priest. Because yes, it's all Judgment Day, but come on, let's be honest, it's two different storylines. You got the betrayal of Finn Balor on Damian Priest, and then you got the whole three-way between Dom, Liv, and Rhea Ripley.
But also Finn brought it all together when he said, I'm going to stab you in the back over and over and over, and I'm not going to be the only one. And then they pan out, and it's everybody else from the Judgment Day. That brought everything together.
And that's fine. I have no problem that happened. I wish they just would have done something for Rhea Ripley, the Liv Morgan, and Dom storyline before they got to that.
Well, ultimately, I think you might get that next week. This week was more, I think, is the Damian week. Next week, I believe, is going to be more toward the tailored Rhea part. And then ultimately, you're going to get, I believe, probably either a Bash of Berlin or Bad Blood. But the thing is, I don't know how long you can go before Damian and Rhea get their hands on Liv and Dominic, because that's going to be the match, which I think is going to happen probably at the pay-per-view.
But then again, if that's the match for the pay-per-view, that's a terrible match. That's a predictable match. There's no way Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest are going to lose to Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio.
What if Finn Balor gets involved?
What? Maybe he could. Maybe he does. I don't know. But what I was trying to go ahead and tell you is, look, you broke up the Judgment Day, right? You go ahead and you put Finn Balor as the main guy, right? Once Damian Priest beats Finn Balor, maybe Finn Balor gets a win and then they run it back, whatever the case might be. Obviously, at the end of the day, Damian Priest is going to get over Finn Balor because he's the babyface, right? That's how they're selling him now. What's left of the Judgment Day?
Nothing. That's
So
why.
then- So then now,
Cat for Life says, I find it ironic because Damian stole Judgment Day from Edge. So who do you think is going to be the one that takes Judgment Day and finishes it off?
Should be Edge. He should come back.
Oh, yeah, but he's too busy blowing out legs and jumping off cages.
That would be spontaneous if Edge would come back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in a perfect world, fantasy world, yeah, we'll pencil him in. We'll write him in. I mean, yeah. We can bring back Moxley and Rollins and team up with Roman and make the Shield back to take on the Bloodline too.
You think
can we just do it all?
You think that it's okay for them to go ahead after Damian Priest eventually gets over from Finn Balor, that they break up the whole Judgment Day? What's gonna happen to JD McDonough? What's gonna happen to Carlitos? What's gonna happen to Dominic Mysterio? Those guys are probably going to fall in the back of the seat again because you're diminishing what they were able to capture when they were all part of a group.
No, but
now,
see, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If you've always been high on Dominic, and I've not been as high as you have been, although I see that he has come on as of late. But if you're saying the only reason they're where they're at now is the Judgment Day, then when Judgment Day goes away, they deserve to go back to the end of the line because they haven't done anything for themselves. I disagree with you. I think Dom has built himself up as a good heel. And if they run the story right, him and Liv could have some traction. Carlitos is going to be Carlito. He's going to be the guy getting fed to Damian next. He's going to be the guy to get bumped around. JD McDonough is the same thing. Although JD McDonough now apparently has merchandise. He's called the Irish Ace. So apparently they're giving them some merchandise now. So there's some things there.
Again, because they're still in the Judgment Day. As soon as they leave the Judgment Day, watch their character go down.
I don't know that it goes down now. It might level out a little bit. But again, you're talking about all the guys that were, when you talk Judgment Day before, you talked Damian, you talked Rhea, and you talked Finn. That's it. The other ones were there. So what did you expect when it, again, what's next when they pull the plug and they say, okay, Judgment Day, that's why I thought they would do it, piece at a time. Okay, Dom makes the change this time. And then ultimately Finn, it's like the Titanic. You know what's going to happen. The joke that they always say, bring on the water. You knew it was going to happen. But they just brought on the water, all the water. I thought they would go more slow tears, and it kind of looked that way with Dom kind of the accidental thing. Then they showed the smirk, and it was like, okay, Dom's turning tonight. And then when Finn went in and Damian goes in after Finn, I was like, oh man. And then the way Finn left and Damian's like, Finn. And then at the end, right before he goes to the match, like everything made up. And I said, nah, this isn't, I'm not feeling this. Finn's going to cost him the title there. And then it was like, okay, so that's basically now, other than Damian versus Finn, that's all that's leading up now for the Judgment Day. How do they run it back? Can they add pieces? That I don't know. Cause I'm looking at like NXT or something like that. I don't see anybody there that fits Judgment Day because the ones that probably would have fit that role are the Wyatt Six.
Do you see what I'm talking about? Do you see how I feel like they're really, maybe it's not the right word, but they're screwing
for some of these guys. You can't just,
they're screwing these guys
because no, you're not, dude. If you haven't, Dom has grown as a performer.
He has.
JD has grown.
He has.
I mean, they've grown. So now, hey, let's see what they can do on their own. Finn and JD will probably still stay together. They just won't be the Judgment Day.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying? And Carlito will be whatever. You know,
I'll probably go back to LWO.
It's one of those things like Carlito finally gets in the gang, and now the gang's dismantled.
Or we could have the same thing that happens to a lot of other wrestlers that we a couple of episodes ago talked about. Hey, Bobby Lashley, gone. Hey, MVP, gone. Omos, where are you? Gone. That too.
Yeah, no, ultimately, but the only thing that I see different here is these are WWE guys.
I mean, they've let go of people from NXT and they've walked out too. So it doesn't matter who you are, man.
But, you know, I'm talking about established, you know, I mean, look, Lashley's always been there and you know, MVP, but they're up there in the age, man. You know, again, they want to work a better schedule and it's a business decision. But when you look at Dom, he's still young. JD's still young. Finn, you know, again, Carlito also, I don't see them letting JD or Dom or, you know, letting them go because it's, Judgment Day is over. No, I think they believe that this has run its course. And whether I agree or disagree with it, you know, it's going to be sink or swim now for these guys. I thought JD's match last night with Damian was solid.
Yeah,
I thought it was great. I thought it was a great match for them on TV doing that. I thought it showed a lot of what JD could do. So now, does it get better than that? Yeah, ultimately, yes. Yes, the final result is Judgment Day goes away. That is the end result of this. How long will it play it out? I don't know.
And what do you get from it? You got Damian Priest, who's now supposedly a baby, will have to go against Finn Balor.
Big time over as a baby, man.
Okay. So then after you get Damian Priest to go ahead and get over with Finn Balor, what's next for Damian Priest?
Well, as a baby face, he could re-challenge Gunther again.
He could, maybe. That's a possibility. Maybe they'll run it back, but now he doesn't have the Judgment Day or anything next to his side.
CM Punk Drew thing is going to end soon. Drew's going to need somebody new. You got a babyface Damian against Drew. I mean, there's people there.
We don't know. We don't know where they're going to go with Damian Priest because
now we don't know where they're going to go
because now Damian Priest is on his own. For now, he has Rhea.
Yeah, but you're saying everything's predictable. So predict to me where Damian Priest goes. If it's so predictable, tell me where it goes.
I can't predict to you where he goes because there's obviously not an opponent after Finn Balor for Damian Priest. Is what I'm trying to tell you. So
there's not an opponent that we see. They've got it mapped out to WrestleMania. Every year they do the same thing.
Really,
their shows are mapped out to WrestleMania.
Really.
Yeah,
this is coming from the same guy that went ahead and said, "Hey, I don't know why they put Seth freaking Rollins as the guest referee in there."
Huh? I'm not saying
why?
Hold on.
And why did we?
I'm not saying they don't make changes. What I'm saying is they have an idea. Okay, WrestleMania next year. This is the card we want. How are we going to get there? That's what this year is about. They have general plans out. Now, whether this guy gets hurt, okay, that changes this. Oh, wait, this guy's getting more fan reaction. We're probably gonna have to make him a baby soon. Okay, things can change that. Yes. But for the general plans, they have it. They have an idea. It's not like they just sit down and go, oh shit, okay, last week what did we do on Raw?
Wait, hold on.
Okay, let's do it this week and then let's do that this week.
Wait,
things happen like the whole Rock thing happened.
Okay.
And they didn't know, and then they said, hey, let's do this. And then that took on a life of its own. Things happen. So but they have an idea of what they want to get to.
So you're telling me that the next idea for Seth freaking Rollins was, hey, let's bring out this guy, Bronson Reed, to attack him and do his move like 10,000 times on him? You thought that made any sense?
It did. That was an old school move. That was an old school turning a guy that's kind of not yet there. You take out the name, you beat him up, you lay him out, and then now Seth's going to come back, take on Bronson Reed. You elevate him a little bit more when you know the result's ultimately going to be.
So why Why didn't they do that before SummerSlam? Why did they allow this whole Seth freaking Rollins to be a referee for the Drew McIntyre and
Because now you
CM
still
Punk?
have what happened before the CM Punk Drew McIntyre thing happened. There was going to be a fight. They were going to. I've been waiting 10 years to put you in the dirt.
I agree.
And then he started going in the ring. Then Drew came out. Then he held him up. Then he holds up the bracelet. CM Punk leaves. That's when he hit. Why? Because now they need to eliminate Seth Rollins for a little bit. Because now they've showed the CM Seth dynamic. CM Punk goes and finishes with Drew. And then ultimately we'll circle back around to CM Punk. Now, will it be at Royal Rumble? Will it be at Survivor Series? Will it be at WrestleMania? We don't know. But there has been the egg planted. Again, I never liked the fact that they did it.
I agree.
But you have to ultimately take him out of it too. You can't just keep doing triple threat matches with Drew, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. You never finish a story. You've got to finish the CM Punk, Drew McIntyre story. Then you can go to the CM Punk, Seth Rollins story.
I understand the fact that you had to bring Seth a new opponent. But notice how they could have done all this before SummerSlam. And that could have actually been a fight that they could have added to SummerSlam.
And then Sneak Attack also says one other thing. Remember what the main event, what WrestleMania was supposed to be before CM Punk got hurt. It ultimately was going to be Seth against CM Punk.
Yeah. But that's what I'm
now,
saying.
Ultimately, that's what I believe they're going to try to get to come back to, maybe the next WrestleMania. Maybe they have to do it before. I don't know, depending on how everything plays out.
My issue is they could have done this whole Bronson Reed feud because you want to get Bronson Reed over. You want to see what he could do, right? Everybody likes him. A lot of people felt that he has a lot of talent, that he could be a good heel and all that stuff. Okay. Why didn't you do that before? Why did you wait for... You didn't need Seth Rollins as a referee in that match. I agree with you. I even went ahead and told you that you were right. And you even said thank you.
Yeah.
Why? So that's why I'm so now why you
change? It was done because
why are you changing your
I'm not changing my thing. What I'm saying though is that's the way you get him out of the storyline now for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
you take his attention now, and now his attention is going to be on Bronson Reed. But so now it's Drew versus CM Punk. Mano a mano. Once that story ends, then they'll circle back around to CM Punk and Seth Rollins.
Okay, so now...
Will there be somebody in between that? I don't know. But they have shown that Seth Rollins hates CM Punk.
Yeah.
They've shown it. Now they can come back to it later. Right now, Seth has been internal bleeding from Bronson Reed. So when he returns, that's going to be his focus. They've done something to where it takes his focus off. And again, Bronson Reed, if quote unquote, it's internal injuries. That's trying to take a man's career away from him. That makes Seth become, his full attention to Bronson Reed. If Bronson Reed just comes out and talks to him, why is he still not focused on the hatred for CM Punk? Because all this guy did was talk to him. So now he tried to end his career. It goes along with the storyline. Now that brings Seth back to take him back and change things up a little bit. That's all it did. That's all it was. It was an old school method of a heel putting in the monstrosity of a heel. It's always been there. Think about back to Hulk Hogan, King Kong Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
What did they kept splashing him, leaving him laying. Hulk Hogan, earthquake. They sat on him and they left him laying. That's always been the heel, monster heel to the baby face. And that's kind of what you saw there in the 2024 version.
Well, again, that straight line, baby, that straight line doesn't change from it, right? Because all stories that come from wrestling, no originality, right? Everything is copied from back in the day. That's what it is. And I'm fine for certain instances.
Originality for it, but I mean, like, what do you do? I don't understand what you're thinking.
That's what they need to think about. They need to think about what can we do differently. I felt like they just went ahead and they had a line of wrestlers backstage and they said, hey, meeny, miny, mo. Hey, Bronson Reed, you're the guy. Let's have you come and go off after Seth Rollins.
Bronson Reed went into Adam Pearce's office and said, "You have been disrespecting me for so long. You put me in a match, I win the match, you take me out of the feud. You put me in just," he said, "I'm making my own path. Tonight, I make my own path." And then he attacks Seth Rollins.
And who's going to win that match?
If you're going to make a name for yourself, you go after the big dog. You're not going to lay out.
And do you think Bronson Reed is going to beat Seth Rollins?
Ultimately, no. But that's not the thing. The thing is to get the rub of, look, when we watched Seth take on the title match, did we think Seth was going to beat Damian?
Dude, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Thinking back, no, I didn't think Seth was going to be Damian.
Exactly.
No,
yes, I don't think he's, but again, if they make him a monster enough, King Kong Bundy never beat Hogan. Earthquake never beat Hogan. These guys, it's not the fact that you elevate them as a feared monster. Yes, Seth Rollins going to be able to pull it out because he's the baby face, he's the visionary, he's the revolutionary, he's everything.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can make Bronson Reed stand out and look like a monster, and you beat him down, and then Seth pulls it out at the end, a curb stomp out of nowhere, whatever he wants to do, that's what you're trying to do right now, Bronson Reed. Elevate him up to where he can be that guy to attack Damian Priest next, or one of your champions or whatever, and it's legit now.
Possible. You're right. I don't disagree with you in that. You're right. They could elevate him and all that stuff. I just feel that there wasn't anybody out there that they're having a hard time finding opponents for Seth Rollins. That's why they made him a guest referee. That's why now they got him going up against Bronson Reed and trying to get Bronson Reed to go over. That way he could become, like what you said, a heel, bigger than what he originally is right now.
Yeah, they're trying to elevate more mid-card heels because there's not a lot now. And you just removed one. Think about it. Damian Priest was technically one of, he was the champion heel, and then you took Gunther, and now you made him a champion, and you turned Damian babyface. So now where does that leave the heels? As far as when you look at the heels on Raw right now, what do you have?
You don't, man. That's why they brought Randy Orton.
It's Gable. It's Braun Breaker. They kind of made him in the gray with the way he did. Although last night it felt like he was trying to get back into the more heelish role where he was like, the title was born for me, because after the thing, he was like very respectful of Sammy. Sammy was the only one that gave me a chance, and I'm very, very thankful for him and all that. And then at Raw, it was kind of like, oh, this title was born for me. My nameplates might not be on it, but the title was born for me. Trying to, I guess, make him more heelish, but I don't know where they're going to go with that either.
Again.
And they're going to run it back next week, best 2 out of 3, which I got to believe Judgment Day is probably going to interfere at the end, and then that's going to lead to Sami Zayn and Jey Uso against them for the tag team titles. At some point, I believe you're going to have Jey and Sammy figure into the bloodline, I would think, unless there's another way they're going to go with it, which, again, the way we're looking at it is it's going to be Jey, Sammy, Jimmy, and Roman possibly back together. They might have a whole different damn plan for this whole thing.
Hopefully they do. That would make it different.
And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about with the WWE, they had the Wyatt Six wrestle last night. The one thing that I forgot to cover, and I wrote down here, was they had like an entrance mix that they came out to. I don't know if it was their original. They mixed in a little bit of the Wyatt, a Bray song, Shatter, or I think I saw it on the thing. I think it's called Shatter, and everything there. So I thought it was very, very good match too, by the way.
I thought it was a very good match, yes. And I realized that they took like 10 hours to try to make it to the ring, but I get the reason why they wanted to make it, the whole situation. So yeah. I get it. My only issue with the situation is, why do this match on Monday? like on a Monday Night Raw. And I know the significance of the storyline. I know that that date falls and the city falls in a particular time. But this is where I say to you, sometimes it's okay to deviate from that line, from that storyline. Not just because it happened this significant day or this significant city, this has to happen. I think sometimes you could kind of, do something. You could deviate from that storyline. Not a lot, but you could deviate. Do I think they should have wrestled on Monday Night Raw the day after SummerSlam? In my opinion, for me, no, I don't think they should have.
See, this is where I'm going to go with this. Is I still don't believe that Chad Gable was the end all for Uncle Howdy. Like, I don't think that that's the match that it was going to. It was just he was that first person that they beat up on, so it became the person that they are, guided to right now. And again, I don't know if Chad Gable becomes a part of them. And Raul, by the way, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. You guys thinking about wrestling? Go do something else fun for whole life. Revolve around wrestling. Yes, it does. Our whole life revolves around wrestling.
Raul, it's because we talk about wrestling every day. You see us post,
right.
you see us go live every day about wrestling, right, Raul? Nah, I'm sorry, sir. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Don't come with that crap. We talk wrestling, but we also have a life. Come on,
dude. Let's just sit here and it's amazing. It's amazing. But hey, thank you for jumping on.
I love it.
One of our channels. Appreciate it.
Bring some of more of your friends over. We appreciate those as well.
Please, dude. For 2 hours a week, we talk wrestling. Yeah. But our whole life revolves around it. Yeah. Our life revolves around family, sports, and wrestling. But hey, it's all good. Even if it did revolve just around wrestling. Bro.
Of course
wrestling is fake. Oh, son of a bitch.
Of course we know, but hey, thank you for informing us.
It's fake. That's it. Thanks, Raul, for pointing out the obvious. And by the way, it's not really fake. It's choreographed, but that's beside the point.
It's predetermined too.
You, buddy. Appreciate you.
Anyway, let's go back. I don't want to waste my time on Raul. Although Raul,
I love it.
Raul, I appreciate you watching though. We appreciate you watching.
I liked what they did with the Wyatt Six there, but I just don't know again the end result. That's where, like, where is this whole thing? Where is it going? Like, obviously, to me, you pinned Chad Gable last night. It's not Chad Gable. Like, if it was Chad Gable, they should have pinned one of the Creed brothers. But you pinned Chad Gable. That eliminates, to me, him being that guy, so I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll let it play out and see where it goes, because I honestly thought once they wrestled, I don't know where it goes from there. But I like the fact that they just throw their bodies around. You pick them up, powerbomb them, throw them to the outside on top of guys. You powerbomb them on top of people. They run through they just use their bodies like weapons. And it goes great with that gimmick, because that's the whole thing. It's like they don't care about their life. It's still real to me, damn it.
You know what? Like I told you, I felt the same way. I thought once they took off their mask and they wrestled, they're gonna lose some steam. But no, they were able to keep themselves up to pace. So I was like, all right, cool. They actually are able to continue, and the whole Wyatt Six still lives on. So I hope that they can continue to do this with more of their matches. Like I said, my only issue was that why on a random Monday night deviate a little bit. I know the logic of the city, the whatever, blase. We already talked about that. Just I wish it would have been a little bit different of that, because I think you could have possibly put in that match maybe in a pay-per-view. That's what I would have assumed they would have done, especially since
but I don't know.
They had Chad.
That match would have got. I just don't know, man.
Or maybe the Raw leading to a live to Bash in Berlin. That Raw right before Bash in Berlin. Something. You understand me?
If they did a pre-show like that, I would say throw it on like the pre-show to a pay-per-view. I just don't know that it's, again, if you put Uncle Howdy against Chad Gable, that might have been more of the, again, not saying that that's a high PLE match, but that would be more than being like the Creeds were just they just put that tag team together last week.
Yeah.
The name was announced this week. We're American made. Like, okay, all right. The last thing I want to talk about with WWE was I like the way that they're kind of bringing in possibly the real feelings of some of the performers. And I mean that by like last night, Bronson Reed comes in and it's like, I'm tired of you disrespecting me. I'm going to go out and make a name for myself. Karrion Kross was talking about Xavier Woods, and like Xavier Woods has gotten more opportunities than I have, and then you see things like that. Even Pete Dunne on a promo recently was like, Sheamus, the reason I'm after you is because you had them nickname me Butch. Like they're using things that happen throughout everything into the storylines now. And it again, it's bringing a little bit of that being able to connect with somebody, because how many people feel disrespected at work every day?
That's a good point.
And then now you're like, oh, I can kind of feel what this guy feel. Okay. All right. Different things. Like, again, it's about the emotional investment. And I like that the Finn Balor with the picture 1 year ago, you cost me, and I waited for the chance to where I could cost you. I just like the way that, and again, when that happened last time, Vince was running things, not Triple H. Triple H is running things now. But the fact that they're using some of that stuff and advancing it forward, and then also allowing some of the wrestlers to, and again, I don't know if they feel that way 100% or not, but I got to believe that some of them, if they're not getting the TV time, some of it, maybe not to the level that they're voicing on their promos, but everybody wants that TV time. And when somebody else has it, they're upset about it.
100%.
And I like the fact that they're using some of that to, again, get some investment or emotional investment into some of these characters.
Yeah, I think that's something that sells. The only thing I don't like when they do is if they take it a little bit too far, like with somebody's death or anything like that. I think that's up to the wrestler if they want to go ahead and include it in their storyline. That's all. If they agree with it, perfect, and run with it. And we had this, right? I think it was I don't remember. I think it was the Bray Wyatt, or it might have been Bray Wyatt, or it might have been somebody that we talked about, and I said, hey, I didn't like the fact that they brought it into the storyline, but if they got permission from the wrestler and the wrestler wanted to include it, then go for it. That's up to them. At the end of the day, it's their character and their career, so I'm not gonna knock them for it. But yes, it does make it a little bit more, whatchamacallit, I guess, more personal, I guess, in a way. I guess
it personalizes it. Yeah, definitely.
Because
then, as I said, it allows others to look at it and go, that's the same thing that happens with me and Frankie at work.
Yeah, man.
This guy always takes my TV time.
Think about all that, but yeah. I can't take your TV time. Wrestling is fake, sir.
Did you see Odyssey Jones, man? How about that?
Oh my God, Odyssey Jones, bro. That I you know what, man? I mean, I'm happy for Odyssey Jones, but this smells like Keith Lee, my friend. This smells like Keith Lee, brother. I don't know why, but
you know what it tells me, though? It tells me that I believe what I was hoping for is never going to happen, bro.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I know where you're going with this.
That's what hurt me, man. When I saw him come out, I was like, I saw the fans start standing up behind, and I'm like, oh, somebody's coming. Yes. And then they're like, oh, damn it.
Now that would have been a hell of a pop if that would have happened.
Yeah, but I think that tells me that that's not going to happen, and by that I mean Big E.
Yeah,
he's coming back to be the savior for Kofi and Xavier. And actually, I think Odyssey might be the reason they break up. Did you see Xavier Woods' face before in the back before they I guess Alpha Academy now, because Chad Gable doesn't want the name. But they came in. And then also, how about and we didn't talk about this at SummerSlam, the Manscaped commercial that they did during SummerSlam.
What was the Manscaped? Oh, the one with Otis?
Yes.
I did. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, it was Corbin, Apollo, and then he grabs it and then he starts shaving his belly, and Corbin and Apollo are like, yeah, it's time for us to go.
Yeah, I saw that.
Zawa and Maxine Dupree just staring at his belly. I was like, oh, it's getting a little bit I almost had to turn the channel. I'm not gonna lie to you. I almost was like, yeah, time to turn the channel there. But we'll see what happens. EA Minutes is in. I forgot to announce that he's our unofficial third. And I saw your comments, so I'll check that out. EA. But yeah, Xavier Woods would help. I hope they book Wyatt 6 versus Final Testament. It'll be interesting, but they got to build the Final Testament back up, I believe.
They do.
It got a little bit. I don't know if this was the whole plan the whole time, but it's like, to me, they should be getting a Bronson Reed type push. The three of them together. I just feel like, I don't know why it's taking so long. But again, Karrion Kross is a Triple H guy, so that he came back when Triple H took over. So it's very interesting to see where this all plays out. All right, are you ready for?
Can I ask you one last thing about Monday night?
Of course. And if you have any other comments or questions about Raw, throw them in there. Or WWE? Sorry.
Can you explain to me what the hell are they doing with Damage Control? Are they now turning into babies?
Let me tell you something. Yes, they are. But then I forgot to talk to you about this. Did you see what they did to our girl? And I have adopted her as my girl now.
Dakota Kai, of course.
Dakota Kai was going to get a singles match, and they attack her before the match, and then it's Io Sky. Like, what does Dakota Kai have to do to get a damn match?
Look, number one, I'm upset because you know how much I like Dakota Kai.
Yeah, no, I have officially adopted that train of thought.
And then number two, what the hell are you doing with Damage Control? They're a heel. Why are you turning him to a baby? I don't like that, man. They look a little bit lost there, bro. I don't know.
It's going to take a minute because they are so used to being heels. But Io is a natural baby face in Japan. Like when they were over in Japan, they're that's who they are. Kairi Sane is a natural. That's why she doesn't talk that much, because she's always usually a smile. She's kind of like is it Riho? Riho's the small one on AEW that always smile and happy. Yeah, that was Kairi Sane.
Real reminds me of the girl. Not Chung Li. There's another girl in Street Fighter that was also Asian, I believe. Where she doesn't speak. She's always just waving.
I don't do video games. I have a life. All right. Apparently, you have no life. You have wrestling and video games. What's next? Comics?
Oh, I got it. No. As a matter of fact, I have a life because I actually do video games too. So there you go. You got me right there. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with them. I mean, like you said, eventually we're gonna start.
The other thing too is again, they're talking about the factions. Is you can't have all the women wrestlers be in factions. That would have been 6 women on the roster in 2 factions.
Well, they haven't changed the faction. They just made them a baby.
Yeah, but you can't have both all heels.
No, but that's true because you have a lot of right now. The heels are the Shayna Baszler,
Zoe Deville,
and Sonya.
And then you have Alba and Isla that are back and forth. They're a heel tag team, basically.
Yeah.
And
then Damage Control. Who else is out there that's a heel? Because you got Maxine Dupree with Alpha Academy, so she's a baby.
Ivy Nile, I think, is going to end up turning to be with Gable and them.
Yeah, you got Liva Valkyria, that's a baby.
Yeah, you got the Chance and Carter as well.
They're babies. I mean, it's not that. And explain this.
Yeah, but I guess the problem would be this. I would rather see Damage Control against those 3 than Valkyria and Chance and Carter against those 3.
Yeah, but they already ran that, didn't they?
They did, but it just wasn't. I'm not invested in the Caden Carter. They do some good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just not invested into the characters. I'm not.
I agree. I don't think they're gonna last that long in WWE. To be honest,
I like them better in NXT.
They were better in NXT.
And now it seems like when you're in the bigger stage, they've looking. Their stuff doesn't look as good and on that stage. Maybe they need to be back in NXT. But
and then let me ask
you. And that's taking nothing away from them because both of them can do stuff I would never be able to do.
But the only thing
doesn't translate on the screen and in the performance to me.
I think what hurts them, and again I might be wrong, but I think what hurts them is that they're very, very small. So it's like you got two small little female wrestlers trying to, perform it. And it'll work for a minute, but in the NXT, you have those type of wrestlers you could get away with. When you go to the main rosters, these women are a lot bigger, a lot stronger. They're gonna get more of a pop than those two girls. So that's why I was like, I'm not feeling them. I hope they could turn it around, but it's not working out for them, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And you know what? Another thing too that I noticed, and this is Terry asked, do you guys think that Braun Breaker will wrestle Cena? I believe yes. That might be one of the first matches Cena has when he comes back.
I don't think he will fight against Braun Breaker because let me ask you this. Do you think John Cena should beat Braun Breaker?
See, this is where it gets like
that's what I would love to watch the fight, but Braun Breaker is good enough.
The analyst in me says no, Cena should not beat Braun Breaker.
Exactly, because Braun Breaker is being
the fan in me says Cena should go out on top.
Yes, that's exactly what.
Like, I feel like Cena should just go out on top. Like Cena should collect the U.S. title, the IC title, tag titles, and then at the end in December he wins the heavyweight title, and then just drops all the titles in the ring and leaves and says, "You can't see me."
Slow it down there, Mr. Cena fanatic. Slow it down there. No, that's not gonna happen. Nor do we ever want that to happen. But that's why I don't see it, because you're building up Braun Breaker to be this beast, and then for John Cena, you want John Cena to end his career in a win, not in a loss. So him over Braun Breaker kind of like.
I'll tell you something that also might. This is the interesting part too that I think. Last night they said when they brought back Kaiser that Sheamus was the one that it wasn't Sheamus, it was Breaker.
Now what?
Breaker is the one that took out Kaiser.
Yeah,
he was going to hit Sheamus. Sheamus got out of the way, and then Breaker ran through him.
But I'm glad you brought that up, because
now why wouldn't? I mean, again, depending on what they do with Breaker after this 2 out of 3 falls, I'm wondering if Ludwig Kaiser doesn't become his next opponent.
Wait, don't say that. Don't say that, because I don't want to see another 20-30 minute match with Ludwig Kaiser. Okay, I mean, I don't know why they did that match with Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser, and they went for like 20 minutes wrestling. I thought you lost me there as a fan. That match could happen. I'm not saying it can't, but it should not last 20 to 30 minutes. That match should be good 10 minutes or even less, and get them out of there. You know,
they only went about 12 minutes.
No, they went like about 20 minutes, bro.
They went 2 segments.
I think felt like forever, man. Maybe because you introduced Gunther and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was out there for the first whole part, and then he stood out there, but the actual thing went 12 minutes total.
That was even longer than the Sami Zayn versus
Braun
Breaker Summer Slam.
They had the commercial free, so that's why I was interested to see how long they went with that match, because it was commercial free at the time.
Consider
it was 12:57.
And how long was Sami versus Braun Breaker in SummerSlam?
They were given 15 minutes, including entrances. So
look at that. So that you're telling me that Ludwig Kaiser Sheamus match was a lot longer than Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker?
I don't know, because again, the entrances but I know they had 13 minutes of wrestling time on Breaker and Sami Zayn.
Wow.
So I think they went over a little bit.
See, so that's why I think Ludwig Kaiser versus Sheamus was a little bit too long. Should not have been that long, in my opinion. I think it should have been a little bit shorter, but
no, but you got to let these guys get some time on the TV to get people to invest.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't wrestle. Again, I just shorten it a little bit, because you're gonna lose me. You're gonna lose me for that beginning, especially since you already gave Ludwig Kaiser at the beginning.
The problem also was that there was no commercial break. Usually, you'll see them wrestle for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They go to break. You lose 3 minutes of the match, and then they come back and finish it the last 4 minutes. So the match still is 12 minutes, but you look at it in a 5-minute segment, in a 4-minute segment, and 3 minutes you didn't get to watch. So it looks a little bit different from that route.
Terry, that's easy. Randy Orton's losing.
Yeah, Randy Orton is brought over to build Gunther as a champion, as a legit champion. This is what they should have done at the beginning with Damian, but they waited a month, and then they gave him Drew and then Seth, and then that built him up as a champion. I think they've learned a little bit from that, and now they're going to get a legitimate, Gunther a chance to become a legitimate champion and buy into him as a champion. And it's no better way to do it than Randy Orton, to me. I mean,
But at the same time, it's kind of concerning because, again, there's not that many good heels on the Monday Night Raw roster, so they had to go to SmackDown.
Yeah, but Randy's a face.
Randy also got drafted for the SmackDown roster.
Yeah, but again, they're playing it back to where Triple H knew you didn't beat me to win King of the Ring, and that's the only reason you're the champion. So I'm going to be your first opponent because you never put my shoulders to the mat.
100%, but he is a SmackDown roster.
It is, but they're running it back because of the way the match ended. He's saying you wouldn't have won that title if you didn't beat me, because he wouldn't have been King of the Ring. Randy Orton would have been King of the Ring, which would have put him in a title match.
I understand 100%.
So
I just
and also it's going to make it a legitimate. I mean, the only other thing you might have been able to do was make it Seth, but then really you're going to do that to Seth again? Like,
aren't they doing? I mean, they did it
not, because Seth is ultimately going to get the win at the PLE against Bronson Reed.
You don't think that they'll probably might give one match to Bronson and then run it back and give it to Seth?
No, I think Bronson Reed will leave him laying at Raw most of the time. Get to the PLE, he'll dominate the match. He'll miss something, the big tsunami, and then as he's getting back up, stomp 1, 2, 3. Seth survives.
Okay,
but you can't have Seth just keep losing. I mean, remember, he didn't lose, but he didn't win the last time because of the cash in and all that stuff.
True. But
you
could have done Seth too, because remember when Seth was going against Damian Priest and he lost the opportunity to challenge for a championship belt. Now that Damian Priest doesn't have the belt, he could have came back and said, hey, now that Damian Priest is not the champion, now I could come after what belongs to me in the first place, which is that championship belt, and I got to go through you, Gunther. But yes, I agree.
But what I'm getting at is you don't want Drew or Seth losing again. And ultimately, they're just feeding a name to Gunther to build up his legitimacy as a champion.
I get it.
That's where I'm saying you don't want that to be Seth. Yeah. All right, let's see if we got everything here. Sneak Attack says, honestly, I'd love to give one more title for John Cena and have the most all-time. But he'd have to win the heavyweight title for that to happen. That wouldn't be the U.S. title. So we'll see what happens there. I just don't know how it's going to play out. If you have Cody as the champion and Gunther as your champions, I don't know which one you have. Just here you go, John. Congratulations. You break it. You've broken the championship record. And then I think Charlotte's going to be the one that breaks her dad's record, not Cena. And Charlotte's right there as well. And she's probably coming back soon. And she will return to SmackDown. Nia Jax is your new champion. So who's going to be her opponent? I think you'll see Charlotte return there. And the only reason I say Charlotte returns to SmackDown is because her husband's there. And usually they don't separate them that often. They're not separated.
And it lines up
when they're married, because you have Ludwig Kaiser and Tiffany that date, but they're not married.
But you mentioned a good thing too. Bring in Charlotte Flair, then you have Tiffany getting involved. So you got those three women, which would make a good, type of matches between each and every.
And to be honest, I could see Charlotte beating Nia, Tiffany cashing in, winning the title.
Yep.
Where Charlotte gets the 17th title, breaks her dad's record. Tiffany steals the title, and then Charlotte and Tiffany going after each other for a little bit of a thing. And again, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow or the next PLE, but I think that's ultimately
correct
where this is going. Nia's going to have the belt for a little bit till Charlotte comes back, I believe. And also the other thing about that, and real quick, is I was thinking about this, is that might be the whole thing behind the Jade Bianca thing too.
What do you mean?
They're waiting to break them up until that part happens as well. Because here goes the problem. Once you break up Jade and Bianca, when that finishes, one of them, whichever one you decide, would be the next in line for the title. I would think, because that feud would boost one of them up, elevate the other to be in that the title talk, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And
Okay.
if you did it now and then you bring Charlotte back, now you've got them just sitting there waiting. There's no need to turn anybody yet, and then you can play it out long term. But
Yes, sir.
again, we'll see what happens because everything's right on a straight line.
And one last thing. I know we're just talking a lot of WWE, but we didn't address it in SummerSlam, but I might as well address it now. Logan Paul.
Yep.
One of the reasons why I kind of figured that he wasn't gonna win was because he did have some tweets out there that were going up against the transgender situation that was going on in boxing. So, are you surprised that after he lost his belt, that they might, or will you be surprised that they might not bring him back for a minute, kind of to at least slap him in the hand and be like, hey, follow directions, don't say things like that, keep it to yourself. That's not how WWE works. Do you see that happening? Maybe because they took away the belt.
The other thing I think is I think that was usually what they do is Logan Paul fights the PLE and then he's out for like 2 or 3 shows right after that. That's usually the way it goes.
Okay.
So whether it's planned or not, I think that's what's going to happen.
Gotcha.
Now, whether it's this is to punish you or whatever, that I don't know about. But I do know one thing that interests me a little bit was that the talk of LA Knight actually winning the title picked up after the tweets.
Yeah.
On the report that I read.
There you go.
So there was talk that LA Knight would win. But once I think the tweets came out, then it was kind of decided on that. No, it's going to happen.
Yep.
Now there's no more, let's not, no, then it was made, the decision I believe was made then that, which to me seems absurd to me because the whole time this was playing out, I was like, LA Knight has to win.
I agree.
Those titles, like if he doesn't win this time, look, man, it's the Cody Rhodes thing that we talked about at WrestleMania. He's got to finish the story this time. How many times can you string along to where you're right there and then boop, pull the rug out from underneath you? Yeah, they're going to come back to you, but it's going to take a long time. And so, I found that's what I found odd about the story was the fact that they were debating whether Logan Paul should keep the U.S. title. I was like, really? That kind of made me wonder, like, oh, did not see that. I thought it was just a given once it played out the way it was going to go. What do you think about a future match? Gunther and Roman Reigns, they have never wrestled. I mean, would I like to see it down the line? Yeah. But I want it to make sense too, though. I'm not into the whole, let's just put the two guys in the ring to fight each other. If ultimately it makes sense to where it leads to something, then yeah, I would love to see that fight. But the other thing too with Gunther is he's that old school wrestling style. Like it's punch, kicks, chops, a couple good moves, a couple stretches. Like it's really ground and pound. And if you're not into that style, which is why I'm interested to see how this plays out, and might be the reason they put him in with Orton, like a big, a more veteran guy, is to let some of this kind of play out and see how it becomes the champion, because Gunther is a taste that's going to take getting used to. Like he's not.
No, but Gunther has been able to hang, bro.
Yeah,
remember those triple threat match with him,
he's
Sheamus, and Drew?
Yes, but also go back and look at some of those though.
Those were badass fights.
They were. Gunther stayed out, and then he'd get in and get his moves, and then he'd get out, and then he'd get in and get his moves, and then he'd get out, then he'd get in and get his moves, then he'd get out, and then he got the pin.
Nah, but I mean,
now you got him as 30 minutes of Gunther one-on-one. Like that's going to be again.
Did you like Damian Priest versus Gunther, that match before the interference of Finn Balor?
No, I did. But I like Gunther. I like that style.
Yeah.
The problem I'm talking about is like your maybe some of your casuals are the ones that are not, into that style. Because again, Gunther captivates as a heel.
Absolutely.
But you've got to put him in with the right baby too to make again, the way they built up Damian was perfect when him against Gunther. It allowed for it to mean something. I think that's also part of the reason why they had to go get like a Randy Orton or somebody. Because again, if you're not going to use Seth, who's that person on the Raw roster right now that does that?
You can't
maybe Sami Zayn, but he's just coming off a loss of the U.S. title.
Exactly. I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah, probably him, but you can't.
That's the problem where they're at is like it just, you know, you got to put the baby face that's in there because Gunther comes across as that heel guy, but he's not everybody's cup of tea either because he's a ground and pound. And as people say, oh, there's another chop. Oh, I saw it all on during SummerSlam. Oh, there's another chop. Oh, there's another chop.
Relax. But he doesn't do as many chops as they do over there in AEW.
Listen, I'm not saying that he does or doesn't. It's just I'm just saying that he's not the, you know, everybody's cup of tea. All right, are we ready now?
Let's go. Let's talk some.
Get to the watch this. Numbers about to drop, baby.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna look like an AEW show. Hold on a minute. It is time to talk a little AEW. Tony Khan, welcome to the show.
Got like 0 views now.
Yeah, wait, everybody's wait. Numbers going down quicker. Quick little ticker going on there. Now, hey, so real quick again, I'm gonna talk numbers because to me, ratings don't mean what they used to mean. But when you're looking at these numbers, what do you think AEW Collision did on Saturday, 5-7? They moved the show because SummerSlam was on. And then SummerSlam said, hey, WWE said, hey, we'll do one better. We're going to back our pre-show up and start at 4. Jeez. So we started an hour before they went. So now you had a pre-taped and a preempted Collision on Saturday. What do you think those numbers did?
I hope they at least cracked 250.
189.
Wow, that's bad, bro.
Rampage, 209.
Rampage had more?
Did Collision.
That's how you know that they have definitely dropped the ball.
And Dynamite. What do you think the number was this week for Dynamite, which was on last Wednesday's Dynamite?
Okay, remind me what were the fights in that? Do you remember? I don't remember the fights.
I know the beginning was MJF, Kyle Fletcher, the promo there. Yeah, it wasn't
the Will Ospreay fight?
No, he was in the beginning. I don't think he fought though.
Britt Baker fought though. Yeah, Britt Baker.
Oh, Britt Baker is suspended.
Oh yeah, because of the drama with MJF.
Which we'll talk about that here in a minute too.
That's actually interesting. That's probably the only interesting thing going in AEW. Yeah. I think I did see. Didn't Mercedes Moné's
Camille fought.
But did she fight on Dynamite or did she fight on Rampage?
She fought on Dynamite. It was an enhancement talent. She fought.
Okay.
An enhancement talent.
I mean, for you to, I don't even remember what was going on. So I'm assuming. I'm gonna go a little bit up there. I'm gonna say 700.
I love the way you play this game. 609.
I'm so close, baby. I'm so close.
Now that's not the problem. The problem was their 18-49 number from week to week dropped 31% this week.
Ooh, that's bad.
And again, Olympics were on, and I believe there were some things going on. I get all that, but the problem, the one thing I look at is from year to year, and they're dropping 20% every week from year to year. You're losing people. You're losing people quicker than we are here talking about AEW.
But you know what? You know who came for AEW? Bounce.
Bounce. OTC though, because he knows about the original tribal chief.
Oh my God. Bounce. You saying that reminds me of when you spill beer. That's an inside joke between me and Bounce. Bounce knows what I'm talking about. So,
Sneak Attack asks, where in the world is Ricky Starks? How could they mess this up so bad?
Man, it's so bad. How can you not put him at least in Collision? Like, he was doing so well in Collision.
He brought Sammy Guevara back on Ring of Honor.
Why? Ring of Honor?
I don't understand.
You know what? At this point, I have the feeling that maybe Ring of Honor is going to have more viewers than AEW. Maybe that's the route they want to go. Maybe they want more viewers in Ring of Honor than in their own AEW. Makes perfect sense.
It's crazy to me, man.
So sad, bro.
Like here's the other thing too, is if you're going to preempt and pre-record the show, just don't do a Saturday Collision, man.
It's bad, bro.
Because you've got football starting up in a month.
Yep.
And what do you think is going to happen then?
It's not going to look good.
Wait till the Maction kicks in. Tuesday and Wednesday night college football. Numbers are not going to look good. Oh, and I forgot the thing on NXT going to CW. Did you see what they did?
No, what they do?
The first week show is in Chicago. CM Punk will be on the show.
So smart.
The second week, they're in St. Louis. Randy Orton will be on that show. They bring in the two hometown guys to be on those shows. Going to the CW the first 2 weeks, they'll be traveling to Chicago.
You know what? That's dumb, man. What they should have done is that they should have rented one particular location and done like 10 shows in that one location. That's what I should have done.
I wonder how much San Antonio paid for that.
I want to know who made that decision in San Antonio.
Well, I mean, if you're not doing it, what does it matter? I mean, yeah, okay, you're going to give us money to come here for 6 weeks in a row, and you don't. What? It's not like San Antonio's got to make sure that the buildings are filled.
Well, did you see? I forwarded to you. Did you see that crowd in Summe Slam?
Yeah.
Did you see how dead it was out there?
Yeah, no, you knew that, but that's the way they tarped it off. There was 50,000 people there. It's Cleveland Brown Stadium.
It's pretty disappointing.
But that's also like even WrestleMania here. Like, I knew where to get tickets. If I didn't get those tickets, I wasn't going to go. I'm not going to a football stadium to watch a little wrestling ring.
That's true.
On like the 50-yard line, unless I'm like right in that, and probably the 40 to the 40-yard line.
Yes.
Like, why am I going to sit in the corner of a football stadium to watch a wrestling show?
Well, that was the thing with the Wembley Stadium. That was their issue too.
No, that's the whole thing. It's like, why? Look, you want to be there and everything. I get all that. That's fine. But for me, I'm not paying that type of money to go and sit and then you get there and you got a column blocking it because you're lined up perfectly with the light system that's right above the ring. So now you can't see anything and you're sitting there watching TV the whole night anyways.
I learned the hard way in one of the UFC events that I went to. I went to the one in Orlando, and the camera, right? They have a camera that keeps going down and crosses right through you.
Yeah.
And bro, that thing kept blocking my view. And I was like, what the hell is this, bro? I was so mad. I was like, never again am I. It wasn't in Orlando. I'm sorry. It was in Tony Khan's house. It was in Jacksonville.
Of course it was. Of course it was. Damn Khans, they always get you.
But you want to know something? If Tony Khan was smart, and he has the money because he doesn't give a damn, have an AEW match, a show or a live event at the Sphere, bro. Make it big. Go big or go home.
Supposedly there's talks. There's wrestling companies have reached out to the Sphere.
Hell yeah, that'll be bad.
I know UFC is going to run there in December or something,
yes,
November, December or something.
Yeah,
so
they have one already.
I'm interested to see how that looks, man.
Oh,
because be so also bad. Think about
we should go.
Oh, dude, think
if
about
there's a wrestling there.
If the wrestling match is like the whole Sphere, and that's what you're watching,
badass.
As like, dude, there's so much things can happen there. So good.
Or they could have it at the once they finish building the Los Angeles Clippers arena.
Yeah, into it.
Yeah, that's gonna be badass nice too.
Yeah,
those.
Dude, they got a charger at every seat, an electric outlet at every seat.
Are you kidding me? Woo,
no,
bro. I would go out there for sure, bro.
Yeah. Did you see also this? This is off subject. Mercedes-Benz Stadium brought out their menu of items of food.
Okay.
Did you see what you can get for $20?
No, talk to me. What?
For $20. Now, again, not counting, of course, you got to pay to get in, pay to park, and all this stuff. Okay, I get that. You can get a hot dog, a pretzel, nachos, a pizza, a medium drink, and candy.
All for $20?
Or all for $20.
Wow, that's a steal.
I was like, that's more you can get at a grocery store for $20 right now.
That's a steal, man. That's
I think I might have to go watch a game.
That's smart of them.
Yeah, they lowered all. It's like $2 for a hot dog. Like it's like almost like Chicago Wrigley Field prices, the dollar dogs.
That's good. That entices people to go because they know that the tickets are going to be an arm and a leg, so might as well win them over with the food.
Yeah, it was interesting to see that. So, all right, the rest of AEW talk really centers around one man and one man alone. 3 initials. MJF. Now we'll get to the Britt Baker situation to end the show.
Yeah, Britt Baker.
But I want to ask your thoughts on this whole Captain America thing he's doing, Mr. America, whatever the hell it is. Like I almost wait for him to come out to Hulk Hogan's "I am a real American."
Wait, but okay, so he went to the CMLL.
He went to CMLL and he had his little jacket on. He's like Captain America.
And hands down, whoever he brought to do the whatchamacallit, the translation from English to Spanish, did a horrendous job. That guy sucked. Everything that MJF was saying was not what that guy was saying in English. In Spanish, it was bad.
Was that the press conference, or did MJF cut something on his own?
No. So when he gets to the arena, he's there and he's talking, and he brings in this other guy. I don't know who he was.
Oh, I think that was like an MJF thing just to make fun and poke fun at people.
No, but the guy was so he's talking in English, and the guy is supposed to translate everything into Spanish. And half of the stuff that MJF was saying, he didn't even get it right. The guy was like,
I think that was the whole. I believe that's the point of what he's trying. But here was the interesting thing. So he's out there doing the whole America thing, and they're in. Where were they at?
Mexico?
No, not at the CMLL thing. This was during Dynamite.
Okay.
During Dynamite, he's cutting a promo, and then Ospreay comes out and starts talking to him, and the crowd starts chanting USA.
You damn right, baby. USA.
And then MJF is trying to talk bad about him, and it's like, and then they go, and afterwards, Will Ospreay. Actually, I think this might have been the week before. Now that
I think so. I think so too.
Will Ospreay's got to cut a promo at the end and be like, "Look, I know about American pride, and I know about like what do you got to do here? What are you thinking? Why are you trying to make, I guess, the American the heel in this? Like, not sure what they thought was going to be able to make this happen.
And they're picking the best time because the Olympics is going on, so everybody's cheering for Americans. So why would you cheer for MJF? Who's
I mean, it's gonna be perfect when they go over to Wembley at All In. Yeah. I mean, he's gonna get booed out of the building. But right now, you're cutting those promos in the U.S. and Ospreay's looking like,
like the heel.
Yeah, and then now you're getting the whole thing with Kyle Fletcher getting involved.
Yeah,
like I don't know where they're gonna go with this. Look, man, I like the thing is. I like the fact that at least they're making it a story, and they're bringing others involved into it. Like, here's the other thing too. Like, I still don't understand why all of a sudden you've got Daniel Garcia in his hometown push like the best thing ever, and then you take him out the next week just so that you make MJF a heel. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me what the thought process was behind, because Daniel Garcia is not over enough to where anybody's going to care that MJF took him out. To me. Now, if you would have done that maybe in Buffalo, and now his family comes in, his mom's crying, and everybody's, worried about him as he's getting, maybe, but you built him up like a king in Buffalo to turn on him the following week, and then I don't think anybody cared about it then.
And I think the problem is because AEW does such a bad job in, like, I guess, trying to sell their storylines. Like, I mean, I'm having issues with WWE when it comes to, like, hey, their storylines are sometimes too predictable. But the problem with AEW is their storylines they don't exist, and when they do exist, they're like all over the place. It just doesn't make any sense. I saw something online where it says that Odyssey Jones, when he debuted for WWE, there was over 8 million views in social media for his arrival to the WWE world. Okada's, Mercedes Moné, and Ospreay's all none of them cracked 7 million. They were all below that.
Yeah.
So that goes to show you, like, what are they doing? They just don't know. They really.
It was odd because we've talked about this before. When AEW started, I thought that was the greatest thing that they did. The social media, bringing that in was just different to me because WWE didn't. Did WWE post on social media things like that? Yes. But you weren't getting storylines fed into that. You weren't getting wrestlers commenting back and forth on things like that. They were doing that. And now it feels like, since, again, I don't know if there's a correlation to this or not, but when Cody left, it swerved, no pun intended, it swerved the other way.
Yeah.
And it felt like, okay, now WWE's using this as a tool. And then at that time, I believe you still had Dark and Dark Elevation, which they had to do away with because of the TV rights deal. I understand that. But I don't feel like they've done anything else with their social media. It's like it's either posted by AEW or that's it. Like, the wrestlers don't seem to be, I mean, Mercedes Moné does a little bit, but I just don't feel like they're using it the way now that WWE is.
Yeah, no, and again, there is certain things that they are trying. I mean, at least they're trying, but they just dropped the ball too much, man. And when I'm looking at their social media now, I'm going through their like stuff, and you don't see that many posts of them reposting like stuff that they could be selling, like what you just said about Rhea Ripley. Hey, they had an interview after Monday Night Raw for her and stuff like that. You don't see that. You don't see that with AEW. You don't see that anymore. And I think that hurts them a lot. I mean, I know they're pushing what is it, Jeff Jarrett versus Bryan Danielson.
Yeah,
Bryan Danielson. But again, it's just a kind of a lackluster. Like, people don't, they're not into it as much anymore. We're not into it. We don't care. It sucks. It's sad, but it's the truth.
And that kind of goes into another question I had for you. Is there anything, and then please, if you're in the chat on X, wherever you're at, is there anything that you can see that AEW could do that would bring anything back?
The only thing that I feel that could logically get people back into watching AEW is something that we've thrown out for a while now. And I know they tried to do it with the Young Bucks, but no, come on, man. Nobody likes Tony Khan. Bring him like a heel and bring him as a Vince McMahon. That's the only way you're going to get viewers again to AEW, because people don't like Tony Khan. No. And you could use him as a great heel.
He's got to embrace his heel side, man.
Yeah, man, you bring that over.
I don't know, though, that, like, and again, I don't know that he can be that guy.
Like, screw it. It doesn't matter. Try it.
What I'm saying is, when you brought him out with like the Jack Perry segment, he's got a little bit of goofiness involved in him.
That's fine.
It's like Mike McDaniel to me. But when I look at Mike McDaniel, I look at him and go, like, you still got goofiness in you, buddy.
But Sean, you're not even cracking 300 viewers. What is there to lose?
But I don't know if you can believe in it, though. Like, I don't know if he could sit there and be that evil MFer that you need him to be. He just doesn't seem like he has that.
Then you know what? What he could do is have like a, I don't know, Keith Lee, or I haven't even seen him in a long ass time. This guy, Wardlow, as his like bodyguard, and every time he walks, he has those two guys protecting his ass. That way, when they try to go after him, he doesn't get hurt. Do something like that. That way, hey, you know what? He's still, nobody likes him because he's goofy and he's in it and he makes crazy decisions and stuff.
I almost think back to what WWE did back in the day, and I think they jumped shark a little bit when they did the Stone Cold part of this. But when you had I forget what it's called, the Evil Authority, I think it was at that time.
Yes, Evil Authority, yes.
And Vince McMahon was like, "It was me, Austin. It was me all along." And the whole time, the group was led by this robed individual that never talked, but sent out the stuff through the Undertaker, and with what do they have? They had Midian. You had basically APA. The Acolytes were actually, it was the Acolytes then. You had all these guys that were part of this group that was controlled by the man in the robe. And then ultimately it's unveiled that it was Vince McMahon who had kidnapped his own daughter and everything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's almost the way, like, things need to start happening in AEW where you're like, what the hell's going on? It's got to be somebody inside. And this is where I thought, and again, depending on, listening to what Shane McMahon had sent to Bubba, it doesn't sound like any of this is possible, but I was thinking this is where Shane can come in. Because you've got Lashley's contract is up. You've got MVP. If Keith Lee is healed, okay, you've got Ricochet out there. You've got all this WWE talent that's going to be out there. If you brought all that in with Shane McMahon, and again, I'm not saying you can't do the NWO thing in these days because there's too much social media where everybody knows that, oh, no, it's not Vince sending them in. But again, it throws in that whole thing where now Shane is running and Tony's got to fight for his company. So it still involves Tony, but now Tony's got to become a badass to lead AEW against Shane and this attack that's coming. And that's where, like, Tony Khan needs to become a on-camera personality, one way or the other, I believe, in order for this to work.
Okay, so just to go back for a split second, I was trying to look for this. So what happened in last week's Dynamite was Will Ospreay versus Lance Archer. It was Hangman
that's
Page.
right. That was the first. Yes, I'm sorry.
It was Hangman versus Darby. You had
because they did the promo, then they wrestled, and then MJF attacked them afterward. That's right. Yep.
You had Willow and Chris Statlander
again, part three,
and then you had
won this time, by the way, too. She won the Eliminator match. She gets a CMLL title.
My favorite match out of everything, it was the conglomerate. How do you say
conglomeration?
Conglomeration versus Roderick Strong, Roosh, and my favorite wrestler who he won. He actually won. He got the win. So happy for him.
Mortos, baby.
Mortos, who fights with the mask.
He is our what's that thing called? The spirit animal. Mortos is our spirit animal on the show.
I love Mortos, man. That guy does anything for the company. That guy's gonna get signed with WWE. Watch.
He's the guy wrestling this week too, by the way. Another one, Rotten Apple and the Beast Mortos. Those are our two spirit animals.
Mortos is so good. In Halloween, not the Ring of Death that we're gonna have, but that Halloween, I'm gonna try to get myself a Mortos mask and do the show in a Mortos mask. If he could wrestle with a mask the whole night, the whole wrestling match, I could do the show with a mask on.
I'll just get a horse one, and I'll be the jackass.
You could be the rotten apple and just have an apple.
I'll be Brian Keith.
I love Mortos. He's good. He's growing on me because the guy's doing everything out there. I like that guy.
But you got to have those guys, man. That's the thing. And like Sneak Attack said, heel Tony Khan move would work if he sided with the EVPs. Yeah, I almost feel like he's almost got to outsmart the EVP. What'll be interesting to see is if, like the EVPs are like, I don't like we're getting. Because again, like I think
they diminished the EVPs by making them lose that match, the blood and guts match.
Let me ask you this, okay? Everybody knows at least what Shane's saying. He's probably not coming to AEW. However you want to look at it, either way. But imagine this: if the EVPs are like saying we're getting outside money from somebody and they're giving us the what to do and how to run everything, right? And then they're doing all this. And then all of a sudden they say, now we're going to, the mystery person revealed next week. And they do all that. What if Tony Khan come out and had been the one that had been doing all of that and playing the EVPs?
Could have.
You know what I'm saying? But everybody would automatically think, oh, it's Shane McMahon. But again, you don't have to say who it is. You could just, insinuate.
I just think that if you bring in Shane McMahon, I think in that particular case,
I don't think Shane changes a lot though. That's the only thing.
But hold on. If he's the main guy, right, and you want to put him as like the evil Vince, right, but now in AEW, I think Tony Khan has to take a backseat and disappear, like what he's doing now, where he's not being shown in AEW at all. I don't want him there. The face of AEW will be Shane O'Mac. Because he'll be the bad guy. So, and he could handle it. Yeah, he might tear his ACL or something in the ring.
Just
but
stay out of the ring. Get two big guys beside him.
Exactly. You put two bodyguards around him. Same story as what they had in WWE, but now you're running it back now with Shane O'Mac, and people will get intrigued. And then you bring in a babyface that's always going to try to get at Shane. Who would it be? Captain America, baby. There you go. Captain America will go. He'll go back out there. He'll always try to get at Shane O'Mac. Shane O'Mac escapes. All those little stupid things. He doesn't even have to even punch him. And the funny thing is that Captain America, he has the gimmicks. He has the ability to do stupid stuff, and people fall in love with it. He's done the kangaroo kick. He did all those little segments with this guy, with Adam Cole, and it worked for him. So even if he has to interact with Shane O'Mac, and he's actually the guy who's like, I don't know, pouring milk over his head or whatever, it would work because he's good at it.
Yeah, but also the thing too, though, is that Shane McMahon would be a good antagonist for it.
Absolutely.
That's the problem that's happened here, because like with MJF right now, MJF went out there, became like the baby face, right? He did the kangaroo kick. He did all that. And then he wanted to come back to be the scumbag.
Mm-hmm.
But then he didn't do the scumbag move to somebody that meant anything. So everybody's just kind of like, and
but
now
it was,
he's got to work harder.
But it's kind of hard to do it to anybody because I'm sorry, AEW wrestlers, but there's not that many of them that even mean
but again, why not? Why didn't they, like, he was in Brian Danielson, damn it. Jesus Christ. What's the guy's name? That's how I feel about this whole Daniel Garcia. He was in Daniel Garcia's corner. What if Daniel Garcia loses to Will Ospreay? That's no skin off anybody's back.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
And not offending Brian, of course.
Yeah,
not offending Daniel Garcia.
Not offending Daniel Garcia at all. But now you've done that, and then MJF kind of extends in like a respect thing between him and Ospreay, and then it's announced that they verse each other at All In. If you would have done the douchebag stuff to Ospreay in his hometown,
yes.
Now you're talking about fire starter stuff.
Yes.
You didn't. You did it in Kentucky to a guy from Buffalo. When in the weekend they're in Buffalo, you made him a king, and then you didn't do the turn. You did the turn like it's like,
yeah,
you did it in Kentucky. It just doesn't make sense. That's the thing. Is like your antagonist needs to be bigger than the baby at the beginning. To me, Tony Khan, when he brought back the first time Team AEW, I get it. He pulled up and he dropped Darby Allin off. But that's all you saw of Tony Khan. You never heard from him. Nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, this is supposed to be your company, yet you're not even out there fighting for your own damn company.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's, to me, it's like, that's where some of the disconnect to me is. Like,
you gotta love it.
You got to feel this, man.
You gotta love it, man. It just feels like they just don't find ways to put things into perspective, and I don't know, man. It's just look, like we've already spoken about it. At least they're trying, but it's at this point, there's gonna be a point where you're gonna be like, I don't even know why they even try because they're just not getting it. They need to keep going
back to the thing where we're the best wrestler. Even Kyle Fletcher, the other night, cutting a promo with MJF. It's not about the storylines or that. It's about where we're the best at. We're the best wrestle. Like, yes, but that gets you 600. That gets you 600, man. I just don't know what they're going to do, man. Because now you're going into college football season, and look, I get it. Wednesday they play Maction, but you know what? I guarantee you, ESPN, when they put Maction on starting week 4, it's going to take away from your viewers on Wednesday too, because money's going to be bet on on the Maction that night, and people are going to want to watch their money, and that's going to become an issue.
But the other thing, Sean, too, and I hope I'm not losing connection here. The other issue.
But now you're coming back. You're coming back now.
The issue here as well for me, man, is that they don't even the broadcasters are not even that great anymore. Like I don't even enjoy listening to these guys. Like look how WWE revamped it. I know Pat McAfee has to go back because of his whole college game day stuff, but they're always mixing and matching, making it creative, making it, I if there's one thing I can't knock WWE for, is the fact that they are trying new things. And the whole camera thing for SummerSlam, the whole situation with the rest, the entrances, the new camera
The
look,
ref cam.
the ref cam, all those things they're trying the backstage
You
following
know what's
them
going to
and
happen with
walking.
that ref cam, right?
What?
I think it's going to come into play one time where they count a 3 count, and then they go to the replay and they see what the ref saw.
Oh,
And they're
VAR style?
that the shoulder's up, and they're going to be like, restart the match.
VAR style. I
think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to end up running an angle somewhere down the line where you're going to see some of that happen, because the I believe it was Fightful put out a report that they were testing this at the PC Center for 2 weeks leading up to make sure how it would work and how you could look at it, and then also how they could implement it. And the problem was every referee that had it worked fine. The only one it didn't work good for was Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins had to rip it off and throw it out. But again, every other ref, again, Seth was probably doing stuff refs don't do, and it ended up not working there. So, it's going to be interesting because they are trying different things, and you're seeing, more of a sporting show, I guess, like a sports show type where they're doing different, as you said, because what we talked about before, the guy they brought in was with Marvel, was with ESPN, and you're starting to see a lot of those things played into the production. And Triple H even said in the thing like, yeah, you haven't seen anything yet of what we're going to do. What that means, I don't know, but we'll see.
Yes, sir.
We'll see what happens with Tony Khan and those two as well. Because look, man, I'll tell you now. Look, man, AEW Inside the Ropes, fantastic, man. The problem is you just can't follow. It's not a show where you can just. Actually, you know what? It is a show where you could just jump in, watch the match you want to watch, and then get out. You don't need to stick around because you're not going to miss anything.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, I believe. There's nothing that keeps your interest for more than 5 minutes.
Hell, we had to look up the show from last week, and I forgot that Will Ospreay even wrestled. Until you said Archer, I was like, damn, that's right, because Archer came back finally.
Out of the blue.
Yeah.
So, gotta love it.
All right, man. Let them know where they can find you, and also about your show tomorrow. No?
Yes. So obviously, you could follow me at Fresco Music. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and hit that like on the Frankie Fresco page, and also on the Sean Stanley Media House page. And of course, you got Let Me Talk to You. We're gonna be doing our show tomorrow at 8:00. We'll be talking Miami Dolphins, all Miami sports teams, and some Olympics as well, and some NXT, of course. NXT. We got the second week of the Great American Bash.
First week did not do well, by the way. 468, but they also moved to sci-fi. They moved to sci-fi and some other stuff. They had things going against them, but again, it's
better than AEW.
It had been up in the 6s, so it dropped a little bit. And again, it's about keeping the attention span, because I feel like they're getting better at it, but they're also low still there on NXT, where there's a little bit of a, it's like, okay, here comes Hendry. Okay, Hendry's there. Now, what happens after?
We're going to find a lot. We're going to find a lot.
Hendry's training at the PC.
Yeah, he is.
They worked out a deal to where he's actually training at the PC with them. And I don't know that he's the only one. I think there might be a couple others, too, that are getting opportunities to train there. And
we're going to find out where NXT will be or will grow once they move to the CW. Once they do that, that's when we're really going to find out.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see when they leave, too. When they go, those 2 shows they're doing outside of the PC, I am very interested to see how they do crowd-wise. Because the pay-per-views, they do great on the pay-per-views because the matches are good, and most of the time the pay-per-views are done in the city that the big show's on. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time the pay-per-view, you're in town for the WWE PLE, and now you get to see the NXT show as well.
All right, let me ask you, if a random NXT show comes down to South Florida, would you go to it?
Yeah, I went to the ones at the James L. Knight, not James L. Knight Center. I went to the ones at the Watsco Center when they were there. They actually didn't run I thought they were running the Watsco Center. They did not. They ran the convention center right beside the Watsco Center.
Did they have a good crowd?
It was full, but it only held maybe 500, 600.
Mm.
It was a smaller crowd, smaller venue. They actually got dressed in the Watsco Center and then had to come around the back of that building to get in.
Wow.
So if you went outside, you could see the wrestlers as they went in and out of the ring to leave.
The other thing you would have to also see is how much the tickets are going for. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing to see
how much back
price.
then? How much back then was those tickets? If you don't mind me asking.
I think it was about the same price as most of the, because again, it was technically a house show type thing, so they weren't as expensive anyways. But I think we paid about $25 for each one.
That's not bad.
Yeah, no.
That means you could bring like if you're 4 families.
There's 4 of us for 100. We did 4 for 100 basically.
That's not bad. I would go.
Yeah,
it's not bad. What about you, sir?
Decent show. I mean, Adam Cole was on it. It was a decent show. It was back when the Undisputed Era was in. Just to let you know how long ago it was.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. It has been. Don't forget to follow me at Stanley Media House, Facebook and YouTube, and Sean_Stanley11 XIG Threads, and I even got a TikTok going. Yeet! I posted a video of a yeet and took off, man. Viral, baby. Boop.
There's a lot of people on TikTok, man.
Yeah, they love the yeeting, man. They love the yeet everywhere. All right, let's see who all jumped in. Chad just jumped in here. Welcome to the show, sir.
Chad.
Let's see. Sneak Attack 305. Bounce DJ Terry. EA Minutes. Cap for Life. Let's see. A lot of going back and forth here. Fins TV. Appreciate you there.
Our boy Raul Williams.
Yeah, boy Raul. Raul, what's up, dog? Thank you for joining. Karoon. As always, Steven Gonzalez. Finn Sammy was in. Appreciate you joining us from X as well. Actually, that's pretty cool. That's I think our first X comment. So that was cool there. Cap for Life. I think I already said that, but just in case I did not. Terry, my dad, Frankie Fresco joined us. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you for being a part of the chat. Appreciate you all. And as I said, thank you so much for the support. Also, to keep you updated in the standings.
Oh, we got another one. Josh
just jumped in. Oh, in the standings, just so you know right now.
Oh,
I am up. I went 5-2.
Okay.
And Frankie went 3-4.
That went terrible.
And so far, the punishments are being put through a table.
Oh, geez. Hold on. Let me write these down.
Dress as a wrestler chosen by the other person.
Oh, no.
The other one is an eating contest, which we have to figure out. We'll get a sponsor or something. Maybe do.
We could eat spicy wings during the show.
Yeah, that's right. We can just get spicy wings and eat throughout the show.
And you have to put the hot sauce on top.
We could do the show face painted as Sting.
Oh wow!
The Road Warriors or the Ultimate Warrior. And my personal favorite is you get shot with paintballs.
Oh no! Did you really put that on there?
Yeah. It's on the wheel. Oh, Josh Rosen.
How about you put? How about if we? That is Josh Rosen. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Dolphin is ability.
Yeah.
Ex Bobby Dolphin. What about if we throw pieces of ham or turkey at our body, like of our stomachs from a distance, instead of throwing paintballs?
No, you get shot with a paintball, and we bring a listener out to do the shooting.
Oh, what happened to the one that I said, the bucket list dressed up as Rikishi?
Yes, I gotta add that. I need you. I don't know about Rikishi. I don't want nobody's ass in my face, man.
or Bash and Booger.
Oh, we could dress up as Bash and Booger. Oh, dress up as them, right? Yeah, dress up as Rikishi and dress up as Bash and Booger. Yeah, okay, we'll put those on there. Those will be added. And if you got any other ones, please hit me or Frankie Fresco up and let us know. But we will have a challenge. We still have All In and Bash in Berlin to go through.
What's your record? 5-3?
5-2. You're 3-4.
So you're up by 2 on me. Okay.
Yeah, up by 2. But again, All In is going to be. See, that's the one that's going to be like where I think we can break away a little bit. That's going to be interesting because they're so unpredictable. They are unpredictable as far as those matches go because they really don't got a storyline that they're following to where you go, okay, yeah, okay. That no, we don't know. So, as I said, Josh Rosen, thank you too for joining in. Everybody on X, everybody.
Raul who called us that we were that
Yeah,
told us Raul
we have
we
no
didn't know
life,
it was,
but that's why we can keep talking because we have no life. I gotta go nowhere. You gotta go anywhere, Frankie?
to go watch some more wrestling
Yes, we do actually. Yeah, that's right. NXT is on right now. Yes.
because I got no life.
Got no life, buddy. Hold on. Mom, I'm coming for dinner. I'll be right there. All right, guys. We appreciate you all. And don't forget, next Tuesday, we're back here. Don't forget tomorrow, Frankie Fresco YouTube channel. Let me talk to you. Yeah, that will happen tomorrow night. And in the words, this is the coach. Oh, this is the impressionist. Did you see his Coach McDaniel ordering at Dunkin'?
No.
Oh, it's so good. Got to go. Everybody go check out Josh Rosen on X. He does the order at Dunkin' Donuts as Mike McDaniel.
Oh, really? Oh, I'll definitely check you out,
You've
Josh.
got to go check that out, please. I retweeted, but hit up at his X channel there. I think it's at Josh Rosen, I believe. But check him out and does great. Oh, he does other ones too as well, but I love the Mike McDaniel one.
Can you do a Frankie Fresco ordering at a my favorite spot, Pollo Tropical? Pollo Tropical. If you could do a Frankie Fresco at Pollo Tropical, tag me on it. I'll love it. I'll repost it many times and tell everybody to watch it. I don't know if people will care, but still.
Give me some chicken. There you go. I just did Frankie Fresco at Pollo Tropical. Give me some chicken and a Caesar salad.
If there's two places I always go eat, it's definitely Taco Bell and Pollo Tropical. Those are the two places.
Yes, he do. He does the impression so good, man.
Really,
So
I'm gonna watch it after the show. I'm gonna definitely go watch.
He totally throws off the lady trying to take the order, though. It's great. It's great.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing, if he ever tries to do an impression of one of us, he could associate it with wrestling.
So there's nobody. There's only one of me, buddy. There's only one of me.
What are you talking about, sir?
Time tried and tested, buddy.
Okay, if you say so.
There's only one of me. Thankfully, there's only one of me, and thankfully, there's only one of you.
I know. If somebody,
if
somebody copies me, I'll be so happy. I'll be like, man, I made it, Mama, I made it. Yes, somebody's actually mimicking me. I love it.
You know what I would tell them? Get a life.
Oh,
the great Gordon Soley. So long from the Sunshine State.